Eduyot Perak Aleph, Mishnah Hey. Fifth Mishnah in the first chapter, Masechet Eduyot. So we're talking about machlokot of Shammai and Hillel, and we learned the last Mishnah that we mentioned Shammai and Hillel levatala, seemingly levatala, to show us that they negated their position. And the Mishnah says, well, v'lama mazkirin divrei yachid bein merubim. Let's say there's a majority position and there's an individual position. So we see this in Mishnah throughout Shas. Why do I need to know both? One of them lost, so he lost. Okay, they're not all Shemaya and Avtayo. Says the Mishnah, since the halacha follows the majority. First of all, it doesn't always follow the majority, but since the halacha normally follows the majority, so therefore, why don't we just say the halacha follows the majority? Why do we mention the yachid? Because if a beitin will see the position of an individual, meaning later on a beitin will see the position of an individual, and it wants to rely upon him, and it knows that it's koloma she'asaki divrei yachid v'niach dat rabim. Okay, and it will do because it wants to follow the position of the individual. She'ein beitin, and some say it's not she'ein beitin, but rather ve'ein beitin, and a ve'ein beitin yachol levatel divrei beitin chavero. A beitin cannot negate the words of its fellow beitin, meaning a position that's established by a beitin. Until it's greater than it in wisdom, ubeminyan, and in numbers. If it was greater in wisdom but not in numbers, in numbers but not in wisdom, a beitin cannot negate the wisdom of an earlier beitin. Until it's greater in chokhmah, in binyan, in wisdom, and in numbers. What is chokhmah? The Rosh Yeshiva of a later beitin, okay, it should be greater. Minyan, but the minyan is a problem because how do you know it's numbers? Meaning, like there's always 72. Shu minyan talmidim shel yeshiva shel achron murubim minyan talmidim shel yeshiva shel rishon. The number of the students in the yeshiva should be greater. Now it's interesting. So this is talking about a really important idea because Batei Din make zerot. Batei Din make decisions. So nowadays we never negate earlier halachot, but it makes sense. The idea is that it would make sense for a later Beit Din to say, listen, that halacha was for that generation. This halacha is for this generation. We have new challenges, and we think that gzeira is detrimental. So a Beit Din can go back and say, listen, we used to follow Shammai. Now it's time for us to follow Hillel, or the other way around. A Beit Din can negate the din of the future of earlier Batei Din, but it has to have the willingness to do so. Nowadays, there is no such willingness to say we definitely have greater minyan, but the idea of a chachamim saying we have greater chachma, we're not at that point yet, even though nowadays the option is still available. The Beit Din does have the right to see the divrei yachid and rely on it if they feel that that's the appropriate course of action to take. I'll just give it a simple example. One example, let's say for example, medicine. Chazal made a gzeira that you're not allowed to have medicine because of shchikat samamnim, because they were afraid in their days. The way you made medicine was you crushed herbs, and that's an isur deoraita of crushing crushing on Shabbat. Okay, nowadays that's not relevant because it's really not relevant. Many poskim say it's not relevant because you go to the drugstore, nobody crushes things, nobody knows how to find herbs. Nonetheless, the modern rabbis, the vast majority, say no, we're not going to be mevatel gzeira derabanan. Ela imkein ad sheyagadol mimenu bechokma u'b'minyan. That's part of the challenge of religious life today, that there is no ability or willingness, or rabbinic willingness to make changes. We'll stop here and dedicate our learning to memory of my father, Rav Simcha and Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.